Alright, so in this video we're going to learn about law of cosines, which, not going to lie, is way more challenging than law of sines and a lot more work. Alright, so you can use law of cosines when you have one of the following. So if you have three side measures and you're looking for an angle that's not a right triangle, you can use law of cosines. Or if you have two measures and an included angle. So you have, for example, if you know this piece and you're looking for this piece. In a triangle, you can use law of cosines to find this third side, okay? So that's what it means to be an included angle. So let's look at what law of cosines are. So yes, there are three different formulas depending on what you are looking for. So let's say you are looking for a squared, or if you're looking for a angle. What you would do is kind of think about Pythagorean theorem, a squared, b squared, and c squared. Minus 2, and then b and c were on this side, so 2bc, cosine of a. So notice cosine of a, cosine of b, cosine of c are always depending on what letter you have out here. The letters in here that are next to the 2 are always one variable of each. So if I was looking for b squared, I would do a squared and c squared on the inside, minus 2ac, cosine of big B. If I was looking for c squared, or c, I'd have a squared and b squared in here, minus 2ab, because a and b were right here, cosine of my bigger letter, which is out here, okay? Yes, you're probably going to have to memorize this because I don't think they'll give it to you on your end of course exam, but do not fret, you can find a way to memorize it. So, find the measure of angle A. So I can't do law of sines because I do not have an angle measurement at all. So if I am looking for angle A, and I have all my three sides, I'm going to use my law of cosine. And I'm going to be using the first one, BC, cosine of A. So I have to use that first one because I'm looking for angle A. I hope I did not write. Okay. So now we're going to substitute in what we know. So I know that this is my little a, this is my little b, and this is my little c. So I would say 19 squared equals 16 squared plus 22 squared minus 2 times 16 times 22, all times the cosine of, I don't know. Okay, so order of operations tells me I need to get rid of these two terms before I can get rid of any of these numbers because they are all being multiplied by cosine of A. So what I'm going to do is simplify 19 squared to 361. 16 squared is 256. And then 22 squared is 484. Minus 2 times 16 times 22 is going to be a negative 70 cosine of A. So first off, you just want to simplify all of the numbers that are being multiplied together. And sorry, that should be 704. Okay. So now I need to get rid of, or first let me combine like terms. Let me add 256 and 484. Oh no. So that's going to be 740 minus 704 cosine of A equals 361. I'm going to subtract this. That should be a 40. And get negative 379. It's going to equal negative 704 cosine of A. Lastly, I need to get rid of that negative 704, and it's being multiplied. So when you divide those two, you would get 0.53 equals cosine of A. Lastly, I can inverse cosine on each side. And I would therefore get the measure of angle A is going to equal the inverse cosine of 0.53. And you would get 57.99. So angle A is going to be about 58 degrees. Okay? Holy moly, all that work. Okay? So again, to review that, I substituted in my values. I evaluated them, so I typed in 19 squared, 16 squared, 22 squared, and then all these three numbers. I combined like terms in the same side, and then subtracted them over. Lastly, I divide by the number in front of the cosine of A. Then you take the inverse cosine to get a degree measure. Okay, so not gonna lie, that's probably the hardest these get, finding an angle measure. So now let's look at how you would find a side measure. So let's find AB. So I am looking for little c. I know big C is 133, and I know my two sides. So I could solve for C by doing c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of big C. So this isn't going to be that bad because I'm just going to have to square root some answer. So I'm going to start with little a, which is 29. So 29 squared plus my little b, which is 18 squared, minus 2 times 29 times 18, all times the cosine of 133. Now what's nice is I can just type this all in the calculator because this right side is just a bunch of numbers. So let's do that together. My calculator's not working. So first off, make sure you are in degrees. All right, so 29 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 29 times 18. Then we're going to add the cosine of 133. Type that all in. We get 1,777. So basically my problem is c squared equals etc. And then to get rid of a squared, I'm going to square root both sides. So basically I need to take the square root of this answer. So I'm going to hit the square root button, and I'm going to hit this answer key down here in blue, so second negative sign. And so the square root of that answer is going to be 43.32. So C is going to be 43.32 inches. Okay, so not that bad. So when you are looking for a length and you know the two sides and the included angle, it's not that much work because you can type it on the calculator. Cool? All right, why don't you guys try this one on your own? Lucky you, you only have to find a side. So press pause and try it on your own. This problem you were looking for BC, which was little a. So I used my first equation, and then I got 22.2 squared plus 18.6 squared minus 2 times all of that. And in the calculator, when you type in the right side, you should get this long decimal, and then once you square root that, you should get 36.86. Okay. Now if you didn't use that whole decimal, you might get a little bit of rounding error, but you should have got really close to a 36. Okay. So that is how you use law of cosines to find a missing side and a missing angle. Thank you for watching, and now you can practice.